Welcome, hopeless romantics and tireless believers in grand gestures. This is Secrets Behind the Stars, the corner of the internet where reality outshines fairy tales and every heartbeat becomes a headline. They call Paris the city of love, a phrase so overused it almost feels like a myth, until a night like this proves that myths sometimes wake up, take the stage, and turn a whisper into thunder. This fashion week wasn't just a parade of silhouettes and silk. It became the frame for a picture we'll never forget, the moment destiny stopped leaving hints and started speaking out loud. Akınözü and Ebru Şahin stepped into that shimmering Parisian evening and set the world spinning in a new direction. From the first second, it was clear we were witnessing a chapter change. The flashbulbs didn't simply flicker, they held their breath. The murmurs didn't just rise, they swelled into a tide. For months, fans and skeptics alike traded theories, decoding glances, reading between captions, imagining the meaning of a shared smile. But what unfolded under those Parisian lights was not a rumor. It was a declaration. And before we open the curtain on every gasp, every word, every ring that sets social media ablaze, make sure you're part of our family. Subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars, turn on notifications, and if our stories brighten your day, consider joining our community so you'll never miss the magic when it happens. This season at Paris Fashion Week, the catwalks did their part, but it was the audience that stole the show. Moments before a revered French house unveiled its latest collection, the doors parted and in stepped Akınözü and Ebru Şahin, hand in hand, like two constellations suddenly aligning. Ebru floated in with a grace that made satin seem humble, her presence both lyrical and grounded. Akın matched her stride with quiet strength, protective without overshadowing, a calm center that drew the eye the way a lighthouse draws ships. Photographers shifted lenses from the runway to that clasped embrace, critics forgot hems and hemlines, dazzled by a different kind of design, the architecture of two souls in rhythm. But the true crescendo came later, tucked away from the frenzy in a private reception where candles threw soft halos and laughter slid across crystal like a secret. The guest list was intimate, close friends, a few designers, confidants who know when to listen and when to cheer. And then, for the first time on a stage not meant for scripts or scenes, Akın and Ebru stood together for a purpose deeper than promotion. The room fell into that rare silence that only appears when everyone recognizes they are standing in the doorway of a memory. Akın spoke first. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried, the way truth carries. He said that in the whirlwind of life, something had settled inside him, that everything felt clearer, more meaningful, and strangely peaceful because of the woman at his side. It wasn't a performance, it was a confession, tender and certain. Ebru's eyes glassed over with light and gratitude, and when she answered, she didn't borrow anyone's poetry. She simply said that Paris has always felt spiritual to them, a city that doesn't just host romances but blesses them, and that, tonight, it felt like this city had crowned theirs. By the time the applause rose, you could feel the ground shift. Word doesn't travel in Paris, it flies. Still, here's what matters most. Insiders who usually keep their lips sealed admit this wasn't impulsive. It wasn't champagne talking. Those in the know swear that families have been respectfully involved for a long time, that this step has been tenderly weighed and carefully protected. And then came the detail that sent timelines tilting. On Ebru's hand, a ring, unassuming at first glance, then impossibly luminous upon the second. Not ostentatious, not louder than love, but radiant enough that the internet turned into a magnifying glass. Within minutes, images streaked across the globe. Some fans called it a promise ring, others said the engagement had already been privately sealed before boarding the plane. Whether you believe one version or the other, the message was the same: a boundary had been crossed, not in scandal, but in devotion. Close circles insist the pair moved with patience and maturity, building far from the noise, nurturing something that could weather the storms of fame. If the timing felt cinematic, that's because it was. Strategic without being cold, heartfelt without being naive. Paris, with its cameras and catwalks, offered the perfect stage to share a personal sunrise with the world. And yes, there's another layer. Those watching their careers know the timing dovetails gracefully with Akın's expanding international work and Ebru's deepening ties to global luxury. It was as if personal joy and professional rise shook hands in the city where legends are tailored. Friends close to Ebru say she glows these days, steadier and softer at once, while those who work with Akın say he's found a calm that sharpens his focus rather than dulls it. If love is a mirror, then the reflection it's casting on them is generous and kind. That night after the show, they didn't vanish into a limousine. They slipped into the Paris night, strolling along the Seine as if a director had whispered action without anyone hearing it. Streetlights painted the water in gold ribbons, and the city listened in. They walked without rush, talking in the quiet way two people do when tomorrow doesn't scare them anymore. The photographs that surfaced later didn't shriek glamour, they hummed truth. Her smile looked like home. His gaze looked like promise. And every step suggested a road mapped not in ink, but in trust. What about the families? You asked, of course you did. The whispers are warm. Blessings were given, not borrowed. Both families, we're told, have long supported this bond and were fully aware that Paris would hear the news. There's talk, growing louder, that permission from elders was sought and given, that respect was placed at the center of a very modern love. Which is why the couple seems so serene. When the foundations are strong, the house doesn't tremble. And in the wake of that serenity, you can almost hear another rumor taking shape. A wedding that marries tradition with now, something elegant, deep, and true, most likely in Turkey, where their roots can hold the weight of all these dreams. The celebration didn't end with the reception. Online, fans turned into poets and planners. It read like a chorus, "This feels like a fairy tale. We waited for this. Love looks brighter in Paris." Across languages and time zones, people who have never met found themselves united by a shared smile. Inside the venue, Akın and Ebru didn't hide. They mingled. They hugged old friends and posed for portraits that radiated ease. He watched her the way a guardian watches the sunrise, proud and sure. She carried herself like a woman who knows the answer to her own questions and likes it. Experts, those careful readers of celebrity weather, agree on one point: this wasn't a mood. It was a map. Nothing about it hinted at hesitation or delay, and every word Akın shared made it clear he is not the same man he was before this love deepened. Later, in quiet conversations, Ebru spoke about feeling braver in the ways that matter, about finally living without filters, about making plans without letting fear edit them. For anyone who insisted careers would always push the wedding to the horizon, this was a gentle rebuttal: balance is possible when both people respect the dance. We've learned they'll linger in Paris for a few days more, not just to sit front row, but to sit face to face with the future and map out logistics with calm precision. Venues, dates, ways to honor family while inviting the world to celebrate, it all seems to be taking shape. Those photographs of their river walk weren't just pretty, they were purposeful, the picture of two people charting a course with steady hands. The ring flashed again, not like a siren, but like a lighthouse. And he, always that subtle shield at her side, made the point without a speech. Industry friends say the decision to reveal their news now wasn't a publicity trick. It was a gesture of trust, a gift to the people who have carried them with patience through speculations and denials, who defended them when whispers twisted into noise. To share this in Paris, where couture is stitched with history, was to say, "We want the world to witness our joy, and we are not afraid to let love and work coexist in the same spotlight. It's not a balancing act if you build the scale together." And so, dear friends of Secrets Behind the Stars, we close tonight with hearts that have been reminded what spectacle is supposed to do: make us feel, make us hope, make us believe that the best stories don't belong to screens, they belong to the brave. Paris carried their secret into daylight, and love stood tall. Now tell me, how do you imagine their wedding? Do you see a sweeping celebration in Istanbul, windows open to the Bosphorus, music spilling into the night? Or is it an intimate vow on an Aegean shore, waves clapping like the kindest applause? Paint your dream in the comments, let's build it together. If this moment has made your pulse race, show it love. Like the video, share it with the ones who will squeal with you, and join our channel so that when the next chapter turns, when the date is set, when the first invitation whispers of a day to remember, you'll be in the front row with us. This has been Secrets Behind the Stars, where we don't just watch the constellations. We follow them home.